Two questions. Do you think that using cell phones in class is a distraction or a learning tool, and obviously why? Now, what I want you to try to do is remember what we did yesterday in the first day of our social experiment. Okay, what happened? Was it good? Was it bad? Did they help? Did the cell phones not help? And please keep in mind that today and tomorrow, for the rest of the week, cell phones are allowed in our class. Okay? So please try and answer those two questions. Now, before I put in the roll, let's remember, we are not giving one-sentence responses. It does not work anymore at this point in the year. You need to start stringing 2, 3, 4 sentences together for a paragraph. Try your best, please. Use your notes from yesterday that we ended with our observations, if that will help jog your memory. Come on. Okay, if you're writing, keep writing. We're going to start discussing answers. Berlin, what did you put?
Cell phones are a learning. Do I have to say no?
No.
Cell phones are a learning tool because yesterday we used them and we could quickly connect to Google Docs. Cell phones also allowed us to contact our parents to schedule us.
Yeah, both positives, right? Okay, good. Maddie?
I said both because I saw people using it for the school experiment and using it to like go on websites.
Okay, so some people notice it depends too on the student. Fiona?
I think that cell phones are a learning tool because you can take them anywhere with you to do your work and you can get all your work on Google Docs.
Yeah, you seemed to like it yesterday. Jesus?
Cell phones are a learning tool because they provide as much information as books but are more mobile and faster.
Interesting. Delaney?
I think it's a learning tool because you can use it as a resource and you can cite evidence without having to switch everything from your Google Classroom.
Pedro?
I think in a way it's like both and not, because as a distraction you must have to get used to it and like how to use it as a tool with Google Docs. Because like me as an example, I didn't really know how to get to the stories or the articles, and in my house I just I saw it right then and there, and I didn't even see it on there. But sometimes you need to love it, sometimes you need to get used to it to know what
You need to learn how it works.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, Maddie in the back, then Selena, and we'll move on.
I said yes because we can use phones to look things up and some people need music to like concentrate better.
Okay.
And if we need to look something up on laptops and laptops aren't working or they're dead, an alternative is our phone. So we said a phone is like a mini computer.
It absolutely is. Selena, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I don't think cell phones are distractions because they are classroom and computer and the people or the students know them better than the computer.
Okay, interesting. You're more familiar with your cell phone, more comfortable. Okay, now I'm going to share a couple observations and then a conclusion I had from yesterday, our first day of our social experiment. Today is our second day, okay, so keep in mind, social experiments, humans, us, we are the test subject. Test subjects, okay? Alright, so what I noticed, let's write this down, is that yesterday, 7th graders seemed to like to socialize as soon as the phones were out. Now this makes sense to me for a couple reasons. Number one, you're allowed your cell phones at school when? Lunch and breakfast, and those are our social times, right? So it seems like a habit as a human, for us being humans, it seems like a habit we formed now here at JCMS is that as soon as the cell phone comes out, what do we think? What do we connect it with? Social times, right? Fun, right? Okay, now that's understandable. I noticed that. I also noticed that, especially with the 6th period, this is kind of, I think somebody mentioned this already. Some students were responsible, but some were not, okay? You guys did a really nice job yesterday. I think out of all the classes, you guys were the most responsible and the most focused. So it got me thinking, well, what about these other classes? What's wrong with these other 7th graders? I concluded from our brief experiment yesterday that 7th graders here at JCMS need to be taught how to use a cell phone for school. Okay? Let's think about this for a second. 7th graders at JCMS need to actually be taught how to use a cell phone for their schoolwork. You see that? When you showed up in kindergarten, a teacher taught you what? How to use one of these, didn't they? They taught you how to write. They also taught you how to use one of these. Okay? Now, today, what I've decided we're going to try to do is start learning how we can actually use one of these. All right? They're all forms of technology. Okay? Some newer than others. So, let me write our brief abstract that I came up with for today's experiment, and then we're going to get going. Our goal is pretty simple. Yeah, what's more distracting, a cell phone in the class next door?
Class next door?
Okay, so here's our goal. And this will happen, and this has happened in every single other class, so I'm pretty sure it's going to happen in here. We're going to create and use several learning tools using our cell phones. Create and use, okay? The question that we're going to try to answer and base a lot of our conclusions off of is this. Can your cell phone make you a better student? Question? You have an opinion. Okay, well let's go with it. Let's take a quick poll. Who thinks yes, my cell phone can make me a better student? Put your hand up if you think yes. Put your hand up like this if you're on the fence still. You don't really know just yet. You haven't had any hard conclusions. Put your hand up if no. My cell phone cannot make me a better student. Is that a hand, Tegan? That's a hand, Jesse. Anybody else? Okay, now we'll redo this poll at the end of today's activity. Is this a question?
Yes.
What?
What if cell phones are really useless to us and there's really nothing we can do with them?
I'm going to show you, remember? You needed to learn how to use a book. You needed to learn how to use a pencil. Now you're going to learn what your cell phone can do. Everybody get to this screen. Here. Rosario, where's your phone?
Okay.
You forgot it?
What if you turn off your
Go
phone?
get it.